So, welcome back to what is this? Unsettling
Yeah.
truths, myths, and some other weird shit that I can probably find and fill your head with. But in this kind of episode, we're gonna delve into your favourite film.
It's definitely a film that I've watched quite a few times as a child.
I'm sure you have too. It used to be on every Christmas.
Oh yeah, it pretty much still is.
Is it? I don't fucking know. I can't
That and
remember.
Home Alone.
Home Alone's great.
True.
Whoever
And
ain't,
got the DVDs, but that ain't a
whoever ain't watched the first and the second one, fucking weird.
That is true. That is true. But
But-
the fourth one kind of.
The third one's also shit. Stupid place. We're digressing.
Yeah.
This one is about the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Don't start singing. Hold it, hold it, hold it. But I'm not going to get into the whole allegedly there was a munchkin that hung himself in the back of a tree. It weren't a munchkin, it was a bird. Ignore that. We're going to delve into actual real horrible parts that happened behind the curtain, behind the scene of the Wizard of Oz. Don't laugh at any of this,
Okay.
because this is all happening. It was all true,
Okay.
and I'm going to kickstart it.
Oh boy.
Get into it, fucking Mickey. Oh, I don't want to get into this. But yeah, as I wrote down, I think it comes on at Christmas. I can't remember the last time it was on TV. You probably watched it last week.
No.
You do like them slippers?
About. They bring out my colour.
I can imagine you in bed with just the little slippers. That's not a thought I wanted. It's still there.
It gross me out. I don't know.
But there's like a lot of dark stories to this whole Wizard of Oz film. I mean, it's now one of the most famous films ever made. But it wasn't.
Most watched.
And many people, including myself, believe this kick-started Judy Garland's drug addiction. Which you will probably find out more. And her later suicide. Which is probably the sad part to the whole of this whole film. So, yeah, I'm just going to delve straight in. I think it's best I do.
Yeah.
So,
Grab those slippers, folks. We're going in.
you'd wear slippers to go in. I thought you'd wear socks.
No, they slip too much. Can't get traction.
So slippers will help you, huh? They're not technically
I'm
slippers,
on
they're heels. Who would you call me? You bastard. So, MGM Studios hired Judy Garland. She was 16 at the time with a strong innocence to her look and her character. They did want Shirley Temple. Now, I ain't into Shirley Temple. I don't get what was so fascinating about her. Well, allegedly, Shirley Temple's voice couldn't hit the notes that Judy Garland's could. So they picked Judy Garland.
Yeah. They both went to the same acting school, if I remember.
And they both work for MGM Studios, which is possibly the worst studio to ever work for once you find out why. So Judy Garland got the role, I guess, but she had to sacrifice to get this role. No,
Okay.
don't laugh at this. Okay, but what I'm thinking is for such a major production film, she had to lose at least £12.
That was to get into the dress.
Don't start. She lost £12, but she was like 15, 16 when they started recording this. So, anyway, the studio producers and the executives kept calling her Fat Little Piggy with Pigtails. Hold it. Don't. So you can already tell that MGM Studios is a bit of a... They're not very nice.
No. No.
They're assholes, really. MGM Studios had to make Judy Garland look younger than 16 or 17, and it states in their own autobiography that she had to look like a little girl. So they strapped her breast down and across, then forced her into corsets. Add the list of the strict diet she was on of chicken soup, black coffee, and cigarettes. That's all she could eat and drink. That's a bit strict for a role.
It is.
That's pretty like, no, you can't. You can smoke at like 15, 16, but you can't have like a cake. To me, that doesn't make sense. and to be strapped down, shoved in corsets. It's all a bit weird, really.
It was all about that hourglass figure back then, though. It was all about
the hourglass.
Mm.
It was more like,
we're
going to make you look like a 12-year-old. But you can smoke cigarettes, because that makes you look like an adult.
Just not on set. We haven't got the brandy.
She was also forced to take pills from barbiturates, I think they were called, and other pills which there's no one I'm going to say the name of.
It's like weight loss.
Weight loss ones, one's
protein.
to make you sleep and one to make you wake up and be full of energy.
Yeah.
Basically. So, yeah, basically it was for energy and for sleep, and most pills similar to horse pills to lose weight. Which was the only type of pills that I could find that was relevant to horse pills.
Yeah.
It was more or less horse pills. But bear in mind, MGM Studios owned Judy before her role, and at 14 had the same eating tablet procedure to her. So they were forcing tablets down her neck and making her eat certain foods all the time. So just for this film, they pushed her. She quoted, "I was in constant struggle with, what she could eat,
balance and,
what she couldn't eat, and she doesn't remember anything of her childhood in her autobiography. Don't forget she's dead. But she couldn't remember much of her childhood other than what she could eat, what she couldn't eat, and the pills that she was being shoved down her throat. But allegedly, her mum was the one that started her on these pills to make sure that she got all the acting roles and she stayed awake. And she, it's a bit weird to me. She was also slapped on the face, slapped in the face
to get the.
No. She was slapped in the face on set because she felt uncomfortable slapping the Iron Tin Man, Lion, whoever he was.
Yeah.
She found it funny, but suffered the abuse of the slap from the director. He actually went over to her and said, "Do it properly, stop messing around."
Do it like that or else.
Yes, fucking what? For one, I wouldn't work on this set. I'd be drugged up to my eyeballs, not like I am anyway, but I'd be drugged up to my eyeballs, I'd be skinnier than what I am now, and they'd put me in corsets. I don't look good in a corset. I know you would.
Wow.
As production started, it soon was shut down due to the actor Buddy Ebsen suffered a life-threatening reaction to the aluminum paint dust he put on for the Tin Man.
Yeah.
He said, "I woke up in bed screaming with violent cramps in my hands, legs and arms, and had trouble breathing. His wife managed to call an ambulance and got into the hospital. He was in an oxygen tent for over 2 weeks recovering from the pure aluminum from the dust and paint he had breathed in." Toxic fucking paint.
It's like lead poisoning nowadays.
Yeah, but that's
it's
dangerous.
aluminum poisoning then.
Right, get this. This is the worst bit. He was fired while in hospital and to this day still has breathing difficulties due to the aluminum. Like, how bad is this fucking company?
Well, back then, obviously, nowadays you get sued for unfit dismissal and all this crap, but back then...
He was good for a Tin Man! He looked good, and then he was just fucked off. So the cast, like the witch and so on, had to put up with the makeup for 16 hours a day and had to put up with the toxic chemicals throughout recording. So, poison in your makeup with no care whatsoever. Same as the prosthetics, which left the Scarecrow with permanent marks for a year across his nose.
Where he had to put the...
What's wrong with this
weird
fucking place?
It is weird.
The actor who plays the Cowardly Lion, but his name was Bert something, suffered almost possibly something really disturbing. So his costume was actually made of real lion, skin and fur. And he was under them fucking lights for hours on end. Which is kind of grim when you think about he's wearing lion skin and fur.
Yep.
And he had to dance in this shit. Like if someone said to you, "Right, I want you to put on the whole lion skin and jump around under fucking stage lights for 6, 7, 8 hours a day."
Oh yeah, you'd definitely be cooking.
He was cooking. He was cooking. It's the fact that he would sweat that much every night. 2 producers would wash and dry his costume every night. And he was recording for approximately 16 hours. He wasn't allowed to eat due to the time it took him for the makeup to be applied, 3 hours before they would go on set. So you weren't allowed to eat while you were
Well, everyone's like, right, okay, take 10. You would go off, grab a bit of water.
He couldn't.
He was like,
he couldn't do fuck all.
I need a wee. Do it in your suit. Ah.
It surprises me.
How was cowardly?
It surprises me how bad these actors actually had to put up with this shit.
It is surprising to me in how much they got away with back then.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really that long ago, to be fair.
There's more to this.
Oh, I can't wait.
So Margaret Hamilton, that who plays the Wicked Witch, she actually suffered severe burns in one of the most popular scenes. She was pretty much caught on fire. Yeah. She had severe burns on her chin, her nose and her forehead, her lip and her eyelid, and her arm or her hands and stuff were also burned. She was forced to call her own friend to take her to the hospital because they didn't rush her to the hospital.
No.
What the fuck?
No, literally, I heard about this bit. All they did, they basically rushed her into a back room.
Yeah.
Gave her a phone.
And said, "Fuck it, you're on your own."
No, basically, they put her in the room. They gave her her phone and all that, and said, "Right, you sort yourself out. We'll pay the bill." And then just went back. We're making a movie, mate. We can't worry about you. Like, by this point, you're out of the scene, so you're.
She suffered severe burns. She's been set on fire, but it was her wig, her broom, and her hat that
it just went up.
Yeah.
It was through the pyromaniacs when they. Basically.
You said pyromaniacs.
Yeah,
it's the
pyrotechnics.
Fucking annoying.
The pyrotechnics.
They've got habits. They burn people.
When she then goes and dissolves.
Yeah.
And it's at that point she throws the water, which technically they had to add a tiny bit of basically lighter fluid. Because obviously you douse that on pyrotechnics, it won't light properly without an accelerant. But what they were supposed to do, they were supposed to throw the water, cut, dry off, re-record from that point.
This company's shit.
But yeah, that obviously it didn't, because the pyrotechnics went off and she went up.
Okay.
And her screams that they used in the film
are real.
Are real. That bitch is burning.
So while she was recovering in the hospital,
where's the wizard?
The next day MGM Studios called her and said, "When are you coming back?" They didn't care one bit, right? They wanted her to do another fire scene.
Yeah.
She refused. Her stunt double did the scene and caught fire herself.
Yep.
And she also suffered severe burns. Right.
It's a never-ending story. But that's a whole
so Margaret Hamilton also suffered skin issues for weeks on end due to the copper used in the green paint. She got told not to eat as much as she would be taking in the toxic, and it could possibly kill her. Like, what the fuck?
They never learn.
They also cut possibly most of her best scenes out of the film.
Because they run out of time.
For no reason, right? And for the hours on end of wearing all that toxic paint, being set on fire, her best moments
not to be used.
Yeah, her best moments were like, no, we're not using them.
No, her best moments in her case is her worst moments.
Yeah. So obviously there was no CGI back then.
No, right. No, you have to do everything manually.
You're gonna laugh at this.
Burn the witch.
So there was no effects whatsoever. In the scene in the poppy fields. Do you remember the scene in the poppy fields where there's snow and everything?
Yeah.
Right? You're going to love this. The actors had to act and be around broken up asbestos. The asbestos was used for snow. It gets better. So they're breathing in broken up asbestos, right?
Oh god.
Now, as I said, the Scarecrow's costume was made of a compound of asbestos. Like, this is asbestos you're breathing in. Like, I've breathed in asbestos, I'm in the good position. But for them to be laying there with broken up asbestos being shot at them from a fan, that's going everywhere.
It's getting into the air, it's getting everywhere.
It's everywhere. But the funny part of this whole thing, right? Most films used broken asbestos, right? But the Wizard of Oz wanted the best. They wanted the best. So, they got the purest form of asbestos because it looks like snow. How do we kill our actors off and make it look like an accident? How do we kill
Everyone's using this stuff.
No, how do we kill them off? We'll give them toxic poison paint in their makeup. We will also give them horse pills.
Make all of their costumes out of really dangerous stuff.
Give them a shit ton of asbestos, because that's what they need.
Put them into situations where they might die.
Do you see why I wanted to do this? Do you see why? It gets better.
Oh god.
The wages. Oh god. The wages they received was incredibly poor.
Mm-hmm.
Judy Garland was paid roughly $500 a week. Back, even now, if you were paid that a week, that's pretty good. Because $500 accumulates to, I don't know, like $13,000 or some shit. But back then it was really bad, right? The Tin Man and Scarecrow got $3,000 a week.
Well, they have got more hazardous material around.
But they're not choking on horse pills. And she's laying in asbestos.
They all were laying in asbestos.
Yeah, but she's
the lion fucking danced in it.
Okay. Psych! I try not to let you kill me in these. I try not to.
Right. You've picked one this time.
Toto got paid $125 a week, which was more than the Munchkins got, who got paid $50 a week. When a dog gets paid more than you, that sucks. Right, I'm gonna tell you a fucking story, right? Fuck the book for a minute. Right, I'm gonna tell you a fucking story. You're gonna fucking laugh your head off, right?
Mm.
Right, so when I was unemployed after losing my 3 jobs, I was sat at home, right, eating me fucking cereal, miserable as fuck, right?
Watching this and feeling better with
No. Right, there used to be a show on TV called Dogs with Fucking Jobs, right? Right? I was sat at home.
I vaguely remember that one.
Right? I was sat at home without a fucking job, right? And this fucking dog at the airport had a fucking job and he got paid money, right? Do you know how shit I fucking felt? That this dog didn't need to fill out an application form and got a fucking job. And I was sat there eating me fucking cornflakes, miserable as fuck. Knowing the dogs had better jobs than me.
And he's getting more pay than you would with 3 jobs.
Fucking, do you know how fucking depressed I was? It didn't help me.
I can imagine.
It didn't help me. Turn on TV, I'm sat there like that, I'm like, that fucking dog's got a job.
All he's doing is licking his bollocks.
I can do that. I can do that and get paid.
And then you fell off the camera.
It was fucking, it did me head in. It was called Dogs with Jobs.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And I sat there.
I remember that
Can
one.
you imagine all the people that like have struggled to get jobs for years because of disabilities or something, and they're sat there watching.
Turn on the TV.
There's a fucking dog at an airport getting paid fucking shit loads of money, and they're like,
They have bees now. Did you know that? At airports.
so you'll tell me bees get paid?
They blow air across the bit. Like, it's very weird.
I'm glad I'm not.
But no, bees actually do get
So
paid
bees
now.
have jobs.
Bees have more jobs. Oh god.
I'm glad I ain't jobless and depressed at home. Because obviously I was feeling quite suicidal with myself at the time, wasn't I? I'm sat there watching these dogs with jobs and I'm pissed. You fucking laugh. I think I wrote most of that down to make sure I included it. I did. Right, so 124 actors who played the Munchkins never got acknowledged in the film credits or told once that they did a good job. Because they fucking didn't.
Couldn't find them.
Now, as we're on the story of the Munchkins,
Oh god.
there was possibly the most controversial people on set, right? Mm-hmm. After Judy Garland's death, leaving behind her husband and her children, her husband reportedly wrote in an unfinished memoir that Judy had admitted to want to be put out there, right? She reportedly wrote, the Munchkins would look up a 16 or 17-year-old skirt. Don't say it's because they're the same height. So they would look up her skirt, touching her under her dress, which Judy made complaints about, but to no avail. They would do all this because they would know they'd get away with it, because of who they were, and yeah. But it obviously made Judy's life miserable with constant sexual harassment. I guess trying to fondle her every chance they could get would make you depressed. These fucking sausage fingers.
What do expect? They're only getting paid fucking $50. They need some excitement.
I'll tell you what, they did about $50 in a minute.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But apparently the Munchkins made her feel very uneasy and disturbed by the rowdy behaviour of them all, and the sexual harassment that she would have to undergo because she was the youngest on set. And they would have a little touch and feel around. Judy also said there was put on, all the Munchkins were put into a hotel and would get drunk and disorderly. To which the police would arrest every single one of them and catch them in butterfly nets. Come here, rowdy midget. Catch him in butterfly nets. It was let alone did that dog get paid more than fucking me, right? I could have been one of them police officers catching midgets all day. I'd fucking love. I can't say midgets all day. Fuck it, I've said midgets. That's it. Fuck it. It's gone out the window anyway. Catching dwarfs in butterfly nets. Because they're drunk and rowdy. 125 of them in a hotel room being caught by butterfly nets. They'd spend their money on alcohol and get drunk.
Scat!
Apparently, one of the dwarfs, right, he actually got fired from the set. He turned up drunk.
He went way too far.
Oh yeah, after sexual harassment and getting drunk ain't enough. He turned up drunk and they found him headfirst in the toilet struggling to get out because he was heavily drunk. He was stuck in the toilet.
Did they flush?
They caught him in a crab net.
He went crabbing.
He liked midgets. So, I'll let go out your system. Let alone was Judy Garland harassed sexually, touched up, perved on. They were also a menace to work with. And she was on all those tablets, breathing in asbestos.
Awesome.
What more could you want?
Best film ever.
MGM Studios is a piece of wank, to be honest. So like I said earlier, it's probably one of the most famous films / musicals. But its horrors persist, and despite it being widely known, it still to this day is known for killing off the actress, as I said, due to the drugs and the constant working, despite them being exhausted. So this is their routine. This is MGM Studios' routine. They would drug them up to stay up late to record, constantly. They would then get put into their own personal hospital to give pills to sleep for 4 hours. They would then wake them up, pop some more pills in them, and then for 72 hours after that they would stay awake. That's fucking nuts. So 72 hours, you're high as a fucking kite, being touched up by midgets. That ain't a good start for anyone's day.
No.
It ain't.
Then you got the drunk one in the toilet. Can you imagine walking in? I'm just saying, not on a funny note. Can you imagine just opening the door going, I need a... I'll come back later.
2 little legs.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake. It's meant to be serious, and we've made something so serious comical. I would like to say no midgets were harmed during the filming of this, but they were obviously harmed, and so was the rest of them. I wonder if
every single actor, actress was done in some way.
Exactly. But like I said, on a serious note, this introduced Judy Garland's drug habits. And like I stated, her mum started the pill issue to keep Judy up, to act, to stage, to then compete with other actresses and actors.
Is how they got the roles.
Yeah, but MGM carried on with this disgusting abuse on the actors. Judy being the youngest, she began to rely on these pills, and she couldn't say no as the company owned child actors. So she was forced.
Yeah.
So let alone was she probably forced to put up with them fucking trying to use her as a fucking glove puppet, she was also forced to fucking take shit ton of pills. She was hooked by all these drugs, and in 1947 she attempted suicide twice and decided to leave MGM Studios due to them still controlling her with drugs.
Yeah.
She was all set to return after having constant musicals, and she did go into a bit of music in terms of singing. She was all set to return, but like I said, she killed herself by suicide.
Relapsed.
Yeah, she left her children and her husband behind. But on June the 22nd, 1969, 12 days later, at 47, 12 days after her birthday, she died at 47. And yeah, it's that. But I still seem to think that this kind of pushed her into more drugs due to the strict schedule.
Oh yeah, like you'd start to rely on it. I would assume if you've done it for so long, you know what I mean. You would start to rely on it.
So basically, her mum,
your day wouldn't be the same without it.
I mean, how could she stay up for some? I have trouble staying up for like 30 odd hours, but for 72 hours, and then being forced,
I think the most I've done is like 48.
Yeah, but then to be like forced to sleep for 4 hours, you're given pills to sleep for 4 hours,
and then redo it again,
and then
I
woken
would
up.
never be able to do it.
Yeah, and then woken up.
Even with drugs, I don't think I'll be able to do it.
I mean, I've heard of going on benders.
Well, yeah, but
not like that.
2-day benders.
Yeah,
48 hours.
Judy Garland's mum actually came forward and said, yes, I started her on drugs.
But then the thing is, like, child actors at that time
were owned. Yeah.
Like,
they were told.
They were told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Apparently, there was other reports online that Judy Garland was actually sexually assaulted by the producers of MGM. As well,
there was rumours, but there's no proof.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything whether she was raped or anything. But did say sexually assaulted by producers and whatever
other cast members.
But it was more or less the Munchkins that did the sexual harassment towards her because she was the youngest on set. But for what these actors had to go through, like you couldn't eat while you're acting.
No,
you couldn't. Okay, you were pretty much set on fire. You were either wearing real lion skin underneath all them lights for 17 hours, or 7 hours, even 4 hours.
Or you're breathing in God knows what chemical they've used.
But a lot of people, like I said, will not know what actually happened on this set. A lot of people look at the film and go, oh, it's a wonderful film. Yeah, look what happened to their fucking actors.
And you don't see it. It's not portrayed in the film, you know.
Which is why I said it's kind of behind the curtain. Which you're not likely to see. You're going to see the actors. You're going to look at the film. You probably enjoy the film.
They will edit in a good light.
Yeah. Whereas now, if you watch that film and you've listened to this video and you've paid attention to what I've said,
I would still watch it, but I would understand what happened.
You can see in certain bits that. Should we say?
I would probably watch it purely for the fact to see if I can actually see anything.
Yeah. Apparently, the Munchkins were the hardest to control because they were. There's 125 of them.
There's lively. They're everywhere.
Yeah, right. They found it like a school fun playground time. Yeah. Whereas apparently all the other actors, like the Lion, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, even the Witch, they all actually moved themselves away to not be a part of even the studio producers. They all went off into their own little room and literally had their food, whether they wanted. Whether they were told they could or couldn't, they would just fuck off and go. They were like, nah.
We need something.
Not being funny, if you're, you can't act on no food.
No.
You can't, apparently most of them were force fed through a straw anyway.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But that's still bad. Can you imagine all the Munchkins sat there having fucking hamburgers, and you're sat there like...
hamburgers, drinking, God knows what.
Oh, they were all on drugs, all of them. It's kind of worrying, really.
A little bit.
It's kind of funny.
A little bit. But I do have something else that's linked with MGM.
Yeah.
I can't remember what film it was. I'm pretty sure it's one of like the Hercules films or the Achilles films. One of those. The sea that they were filming in.
It's got to be a Viking film.
Wasn't blue enough. No, it was a Greek film.
Right. Okay.
But it wasn't blue enough. You couldn't really see it. It wouldn't come out on film.
Yeah.
So they actually dyed it.
Okay.
Right, so they got the swimming pool, they dyed it blue.
Yeah.
And one of the actors was standing on one of the plinths.
Yeah.
And he wasn't supposed to move.
Yeah.
But one of the cameramen or one of the other crew members made him laugh that much.
Yeah.
He stepped back and fell in.
Yeah. And did he come out blue?
He was dyed blue for 2 weeks. And they kept him on the payroll.
Fucking hell.
Just so that he wouldn't sue.
So why do you want to sue MGM? They turned me into a fucking Smurf.
Literally. But yeah, they still hadn't learnt their thing, but at least they kept him on.
We'll keep him on. We've got to keep him on.
Yeah, he's gonna sue. I can't have another one.
If he speaks to Papa Smurf, it's all over. He's got a sword made of foam. Don't care. Don't trust him.
But no, like...
What's that, a dog with a job? Fuck off.
Come here, Rover.
Yeah. Honestly, when I looked up shit for this film, I was like, what the fuck? You drug all your actors on this shit. You're telling them they have to take it. You're putting them in hazardous chemicals and breathing in toxins.
But I assume that's why now you have certain things now that you would... You know, I have set things in place.
I mean, I didn't obviously write it down too much.
But I'm sure there is.
The dog that is on set, Toto or whatever his fucking name is. I think I told you before we started recording. He had his leg broken 4 times on set. And in the certain clips that you see, most of the time the dog is above camera angle, so they didn't show you the little dog's cast that you had to fucking walk around in.
Yeah.
Like, alright, yeah, your dog has to move about with a cast on. But he doesn't have to go recording for 7 hours being forced to fucking run around with a cast on.
No.
He can have a day off. You can get him on set for a couple of minutes or whatever. But you don't have to fucking shove him on there and go, run! He's like, oh, fuck it.
Peg leg.
He's still got paid more than the Munchkins. He probably got treated better.
He probably did. He's probably allowed to eat.
I don't know.
He's allowed to get the horse pin.
So he broke his leg.
Doing backflips.
Can you imagine? But you know, like I said, I had to tell you some of these. These were fucking great. It's bad on the actors. It's bad that the fact that
extremely bad.
It's bad because it also, like I said, it's kind of the backstory of how Judy Garland got addicted to drugs and stuff, or certain types of pills. But it's the fact that she was hooked from her mother to get this role, to then have them MGM Studios own her up until she was like in her 40s.
Continue it.
Yeah. That's bad. Like, if I ever became an actor, I wouldn't be owned by a company.
No, but obviously, as I said back then, if everyone was owned, you'd sign a contract for yourself, not for.
And you wouldn't even have a lawyer in case anything went wrong.
No.
Fuck that. Fuck that. Can you imagine me on set? I'd kick every fucking dog out the window. I'd be like, dog with job, bang!
He's getting paid more than me.
Fuck this, I'm hilarious. I'm not doing another scene until Will comes in. Who's Will? Exactly.
Here's Will.
Great, they gave me Scooby-Doo. But I thought this would be...
No, it's very interesting.
I thought maybe some people wouldn't know.
And very unsettling in certain aspects. Very hilarious.
But
I'm not going to lie. But
it's sad.
It's very sad.
If you were to actually
the way that they were treated, the way, like, the circumstances they were under.
It's just the first Tin Man that bugged me the most, because he got rushed into hospital because he couldn't breathe properly.
He was quite old for the role though, wasn't he? If I remember right.
The first one wasn't. The second one
was
because the second one was also friends with the Scarecrow. They both often acted in films together. But the first Tin Man they had gets rushed off and can't breathe. He's suffering bad cramps and he's still suffering. I don't know whether he's still alive.
Well, he at that point he was still suffering.
I think he's still alive.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I think he's still alive because when I read reports, he is still suffering breathing problems due to the toxins that he had to have. Aluminum in your throat. Fucking.
Well, they got rid of the aluminum paint and they come up with, oh, what's better? Lead paint. That's better.
I breathed in a lot of lead paint.
To be fair, lead paint at the time wasn't dangerous.
Breaking up asbestos with
breaking up purest asbestos form. Looks like snow, that's blacky. Snowball fight. Oh no!
But may I just add, MGM wasn't the only
production
that was using it.
No.
But that MGM decided to use the purest form of asbestos because it looked like snow. And to me, that's just fucking ridiculous. Like, whoever owns MGM are a fucking weirdo.
Definitely.
They're either a weirdo or they're just mentally fucked.
Probably a bit of both. I'm not gonna lie. Probably sadistic, I would say. But then I can't really say that because everyone was doing it at the time. It wasn't. It was the norm back then.
I can safely say if I was back then as a child actor, no.
You wouldn't know.
They were popping me pills, mate.
But you're getting paid for it.
I don't give a fuck. I ain't paying me enough.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that.
I would.
They wouldn't tell you that.
Oh no. If I saw that
the dog was getting half your wages.
I'm not being funny, right? Dorothy is what the film's mainly about, right? So why would they pay the Tin Man and the Scarecrow more? If Dorothy's your main actor. Oh wait, because she's 16. That's why. So there you go, folks.
There we are.
If that was enlightening enough for you. You did die with the crab net, didn't you?
I did die with the crab net.
If you want us to do any more of these, or you want me to kill everything, and we're to sit here and giggle and laugh,
I'm happy to do that.
I'm sure you are. It saves you going, oh. But either way, it was funny. It's funny, depressing at the same time, but now you're going to watch that film and think, fuck.
And you're going to wonder.
You are. But it makes you wonder what else.
It does.
I mean, we have been asked to do other films. Poltergeist was one of them. Because apparently all the cast members were cursed. Because they all fucking died.
There we are.
Do you want to do a Poltergeist one? It won't be as funny as that one.
Thank God for that, my ribs
are. don't forget to what are we doing? I don't even know. Okay, subscribe. That help.
And like.
And share if you want to be part of the. Is it a giveaway? It's not a competition.
No.
Just do what you like. You do anyway.
And leave a comment below.
And we will see you in the next one.
Next one.
Who knows what it's going to be at this rate?
Who knows? We're
just dishing out content because we have to wait. So this is as good as it's going to get. So if you like it, like I said, subscribe, like, share, be part of the giveaway, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the next lot that we dish out, I guess. Maybe.